And so, but I think that from a career perspective, you know, don't just hang out with the status quo because, there are other opportunities out there. So don't be afraid of that change, right? Bet on yourself.
Hey, what's up? It's Wilson at the New Traxxas Club. In this video, I am sharing part of my conversation with Ben Follett, the Director of Sales and Marketing at a very well-known structural engineering software company. Ben walks us through his experience as a professional engineer working in consulting and then eventually going into non-traditional roles in engineering as a support engineer and eventually sales and marketing. He also shares with us his experience with imposter syndrome as an engineer and how playing to his strengths led him to design a fulfilling career. I'm sure you enjoyed this interview with Ben as much as I did, but most importantly, he's inviting us to take our own engineering degree and define our own path within engineering. So here it is, Ben Follett. Do you face any fears, some imposter syndrome as you were going through it, that transition going into a support role and then eventually into sales and marketing?
Yeah, I think I actually had the reverse, to be honest. I think that I actually felt more of an imposter syndrome as a traditional engineer than I do in the space that I'm in now, because I truly believe that I was built to do what I'm doing, right? Like, my dad always told me, I remember when struggling through my college, my initial courses in college, I was like, I don't want to be an engineer anymore. It's too hard. I'm failing calculus 1 or something like that, right? My dad's like, Ben, if you get a business degree, they'll never let you practice engineering. But if you get an engineering degree, you can always do other things, right? But if you don't have that technical, whether it's chemistry or whatever, you don't have that technical experience, you can never be that, right? Like you can never talk that language, right? To the fullest. And so, I think I was more of an imposter as a traditional engineer just because I just didn't feel good at it. And I didn't feel like I was using my full, capabilities or my full, gifting set and soft skills that I was born with. And so from that perspective, transitioning to the role, I think now, I feel a little bit more of that imposter syndrome, a tiny bit as I've kind of gotten higher into a management role, right? Where, I haven't managed a sales team before. I haven't managed a marketing team before. I haven't done budgets before and put together like what we're going to do in a given year, right? That's all new to me. I'm excited to learn. Again, I don't know what I don't know, and I'm excited to learn from people who, have been there before me. But, I think that, we're conditioned to, I'm at least conditioned to, want to work as hard as I can to try to succeed. And I think that that's really very engineer of us, right? Like we see a problem, we want to attack it, we want to figure it out, right? Just like on support, we want to solve the problem for that person so we get that gratification and they can get their job done. And so from that perspective, I think that, looking to, take on the next thing is a natural maturation of, hey, I don't want to just hang out in my career, right? I want to do more, right? I want to impart more wisdom, or I want to help the next generation, because now I get the opportunity to shepherd and kind of assist younger engineers that are a little bit younger than me that are making that same transition that I made, right? They're coming out of consulting engineering and are coming into a sales role for the first time and making that transition. I can help them because I'm one step further on the path than they are, right? And that's all it takes to lead, right? You just have to be one step further on the path, to lead somebody in a direction. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just it's more just exciting than anything else, right? Than feeling like I don't fit or feeling, and I think that's my big encouragement when I talk to students a lot is that I meet some students at conferences and stuff like that, and they ask me like, what do I have to do to get a job? And do the basic stuff. Got to learn some software. Got to know how to do the calcs and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's just hey, you can do whatever you want, right? Like there's a lot of opportunity, things that I didn't know a decade ago. There are a lot of opportunities in structural engineering, civil engineering that have nothing to do with being a consulting engineer, right? You can do a ton of different things. It's not just sales, it's not just marketing, it's not just consulting. You can do anything you want, right? Because you have that base technical knowledge and you have those letters after your name or whatever. And so, if you feel like you have gifting or you have soft skills that would pull you in a different direction, you should explore those, because ultimately I firmly believe that, we spend so much of our time at work in our lifetime. that you might as well enjoy what you do, right? And you might as well feel passionate about it, because if you're not, then you're just going to resent that time. And I don't think that, it's just a paycheck then, and then it's, I don't think that's any way to go through life.
Yeah, so it's not fulfilling at all. So yeah, I totally feel on that, and just take some deep level questions to ask about what you really want out of your career and spend most of your time in, because you spend a lot of the time at work. So it's good if we spend and invest some time into figuring out what is that thing that we feel most comfortable in, and then we can excel at. But now,
And I, and and one other thing, I'll just add one other
Mhm.
thing, and I think just not being afraid of change, right? I think we're
Yeah.
conditioned to fear change, right? And we as engineers don't really like change in general, right? We like what we like, right? And so, but I think that from a career perspective, you know, don't just hang out with the status quo, because there are other opportunities out there. So don't be afraid of that change, right? Bet on yourself, and believe in yourself, in that there is something else out there that maybe is more fulfilling than what you feel like. Well, I got my 5-year degree and my master's and my PE and my SE, and this is what I have to do. I have to be a consulting engineer until I'm 65, and then I'll retire, right? Like that's not what life has to be like if you don't feel like that's for you.
Thank you for watching this part of my conversation with Ben Follett. Next week, I'll be releasing the full interview with Ben, so make sure to stay tuned, subscribe, and thank you for your support. See you next time.